Welcome to Decade Update. I'm Rosie the Riveter with the Rosie Report. What a couple of decades we've had. Let's take a look at what has happened so far in the world, but also in the world of occupational therapy. America joined what has become the Second World War due to Hitler's rise in power. As a result, America has experienced a shortage of men in their workforce, so it's been up to women to pick up the slack. Way to go, ladies! There were a lot of casualties, which made for a very devastating time for us Americans. Americans lost around 291,000 lives. On a more positive note, our government has made advances in various legislative acts. The Public Health Service Act granted awards for non-federal research. The GI Bill of 1944 helped fund efforts to assist veterans as they returned to civilian life after the war. President Harry Truman signed the Mental Health Act, which provides funding for mental health services and research. And more men were called to battle as the Korean and Cold War began. Now, here to tell us more about the field of occupational therapy, we have a therapist with us in the studio, Miss Margaret Rood. So, Margaret, can you tell us about your field and what you've been working on?
Well, I am an occupational and physical therapist and have created one of the earliest theories on motor control. I place a lot of stress on the importance of reflexes in early development and have placed great emphasis on the use of facilitation and inhibition techniques.
Wow, that's pretty interesting. That sounds like a lot. Has anybody continued or furthered your work that you know of?
Well, from what I've heard, Carl and Berta Bobath are further expanding on my facilitation and inhibition techniques. They have been very influential in this community. They developed a neurodevelopmental treatment, which involves normal play environments and natural contacts. I hope that OTs and PTs around the world will use these techniques.
Wow, I hope so too. Those sound pretty important and lengthy. A lot of research going into those, I think. So, could you happen to be able to tell us if you have any side projects that you're working on?
Well, in addition to my clinical work, I have just developed the occupational therapy department at the University of Southern California. Go Trojans!
Go Trojans! Thank you very much for your time, Margaret.
No problem.
Hot! Now selling the very first edition of the Helen Willard and Claire Spackman Occupational Therapy Textbook. You can learn everything you need to know and want to know about the field of occupational therapy. This can be yours for 4 easy payments of $4.99, shipping and handling not included. But if you call in the next 5 minutes, guys, grab your rotary phone. We will drop the last payment so it can be yours for 3 easy payments of $4.99. And with the purchase of this occupational therapy book, you'll receive 1 year free membership to American Occupational Therapy Association. So call now at 1-800-555-AOTA. 1-800-555-AOTA.
And we're back, and now we have Ruth A. Robinson here in the studio with us, and she's going to tell us more about the field of occupational therapy. So Ruth, you're a colonel of the Army, is that correct?
Yes, Rosie, that's correct.
Wow, that's great. So can you let our viewers know the impact that you've made on the field of occupational therapy?
Well, I've assisted with creating occupational therapy educational programs to prepare those who will serve in the military. I also proposed an accelerated training program since there was a need for expansion due to the Korean War.
Wow, that's great. So what other things have you accomplished in your work and in your career?
Well, thank you so much for asking. Up until last year, I served as the American Occupational Therapy Association president. Any of you who are working in the field, please join the association.
Wow, great. Well, thanks very much for your time, Ruth. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
So now we have an expert from the National Academy of Science, Susie Callahan, and she's going to tell us about her latest endeavors.
Hi, I'm Susie Callahan, and I'm from the National Academy of Science. Due to the Second World War, many soldiers have returned home as wounded veterans. This has caused a rise in the research and development for prosthetics and orthotics within the Army, Navy, Air Force, and Veterans Administration, which was funded through the government.
Wow! So tell us, what has that done for the field of orthotics and prosthetics?
Well, with that, we were able to improve on the functionality of prosthetics and orthotics. Many occupational therapists have been able to be involved in the prosthetics training, and they have helped many of the returned wounded soldiers.
Wow, from the war.
Yes, from the war.
That's amazing.
Yes.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
So, in America, we also saw economic growth and a rise in the need for rehab services and post-war concerns. Some highlights include the triumph over polio with the vaccine, the discoveries of the DNA double helix, development of pacemakers, and the formation of the Joint Commission of Accreditation of Health Care Organizations. Mental health institutions have become overcrowded with an increase in juvenile delinquency and alcoholism. A new area of psychiatric treatments emerged in treating mental illness with a reliance on pharmaceutical interventions and deinstitutionalization. Those brought on a new set of social and healthcare challenges. Well, there you have it, folks. We've taken you through the history of America, through the history of the world, and a history of the field of occupational therapy from the years 1940 to 1959. That's it for the Rosie Report. And remember, we can do it!